Welcome to monstertutorials.com. I am Eduardo Talbert. I'm your host. Actually, not host, I just make all this stuff. So this is the third in our series of making dollar store skulls, those cheap ones like this, to see what we could do with them. So in the first one, we did this foam corpsing. It was popular. Then we had this toilet paper and glue corpsing. Some people liked it too. And today we're doing the easiest one, which is this one. Okay, that one even has teeth. So let's get started. Okay, for this third installment of the corpsing series, we need a cheap skull, dollar store, $1. We're going to use some of this plastic sheeting. And this is readily available here in the US, but if you don't have it, all you need is like a plastic bag, kind of like what those heads are in. So as long as it's clear, or at least translucent, that's what you need. And you'll need a heat gun. This is the one that I use. If you're interested in this one in particular, there's a link below. If you don't have a heat gun, you might be able to make this work with shrink wrap. This is window film that is for insulating windows, and that shrinks with very little heat. So with a hair dryer, you can make this shrink. For this case, which is the plastic, we're going to use a real heat gun. The first step is I'm going to paint the eyes black and the nose black so that it looks deeper. And in this case, I'm going to cut out a hole in the mouth. So I'm going to cut out some of these teeth. All I'm doing is carefully piercing through the teeth and the plastic and then cutting them out. I just want to make a hole where the mouth is. For this next step, we're going to take the plastic and we're going to wrap our skull maybe 2 or 3 times, depending how thick you want the skin to be. And all I'm doing is wrapping it in random directions. See it? It's wrapped. Wrinkles are okay, actually. They look really cool once we're done. So just hold it in place. You might need to use a little bit of glue back here just to hold it. But that's all we're doing on this first step. Once you have it wrapped, this next step is just to use our trusty heat gun. I'm going to use it on the low setting, and then slowly, and doing it by eye, kind of make the plastic shrink where you want it. Don't leave the heat in one spot too long or it'll melt the whole thing, skull and all. Now, once it's all shrink wrapped like that, I'm going to cut some slits for the eyes, and I'm going to cut the mouth open and heat it again. Now that I have cut the slits, I'm just going to push it in to give it the shape that I want. And that's why we cut the teeth out. There you go. That's looking pretty funky right there. So now the last step. Okay, so this is done and shrink wrapped. What we're going to do now is add the usual stain, and I'll give it a distinction between the bone color underneath and then the top, so it won't look like a bag, it'll look like skin. The other thing you can do, since I tried to give you other options when some stuff is not available, is do the same, but with, this is like a nylon stocking that I stole from my wife. I hope she doesn't find out. But you do the same thing, you put it over, maybe a couple coats, and then use your heat gun to shrink it on top. And the other thing you can use is spider web. this fake spider web is made out of plastic. It'll melt and it'll shrink just like that. All you do is just cover your skull and use the heat gun. So let's stain this, and then I'll show you a couple finishing touches that I thought would be pretty cool. And as usual, you're going to stain and then wipe it off. Just get in there because it will get caught in the wrinkles, and that's what will make it have a lot of dimension. Now we're going to wipe it all off. See how the wrinkles catch all the stain? You don't have to wipe it all off. You can kind of selectively wipe where you want. Like I'm doing just around the eyes. See how it highlights the bone right here? And then down the nose. I'm going to leave the mouth just like it is, all dark. And just do it by eye. Just wipe it off. If you wipe too much off, you can do it again. If you screw up this whole thing, just peel off the plastic and do it again. What started like a dollar store skull ended up looking like a pretty tortured soul here. The only extra thing I'm going to do here is I have some teeth that I made. I'm going to glue just a couple of teeth right here. And what I'm not liking is how white it is inside, so I'm gonna have to get a brush in there and paint the inside of the skull black. Other than that, I'm just going to glue a couple of teeth and we're done. I don't know if you can see it, but that's one tooth right there. All I'm doing is putting some hot glue and then just gluing it from the inside out. Then once it's glued, I put it where I want it. Hold it there. We have another tooth. What I'm going to do is stain these guys so it matches this, but not so dark, so you can still tell that it's a tooth. That's it. That's how easy you corpse a skull with just a heat gun and some plastic. I even added some teeth. So if you like this one in the series, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because we make all this cool stuff like all these skulls. That's all we do here. So give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.